Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Rothkoff, Managing Attorney of Rothkoff Law Group. Thank you for joining us on another exciting episode of the Who's Who of Elder Care Advocacy in the Greater Philadelphia area. Today, we are privileged to have Vlada Rubarkh, the Executive Director, the RN, the Program Director, the woman of many hats of Northeast Philadelphia Adult Day Care. So Vlada, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you very much for inviting me. I'm very excited.
Well, let's get into it because Adult Day has been specifically hard hit. So my understanding is that, well, you're located in Northeast Philadelphia, serving the population for Northeast Philadelphia. And it's particularly hard hit in the sense, my understanding is that unfortunately it's been a year and still the days are counting since your adult day center has been open. Is that correct?
Yes, that is very true. So all of the adult daycare centers were shut down by the governor order, originally at the on-site, when the pandemic started in March of 2020. Later on in July, late June, July of 2020, that was lifted, and most of the adult daycares throughout the state were allowed to reopen with certain guidance and certain capacity, like other businesses. However, Philadelphia County has more stringent policies and procedures in place, and we have still not able to be reopened due to those regulations and mandates from Philadelphia County Health Department.
Is there any talk about when those regulations will be lifted? Is it a matter of making sure that all of your adult day clients, patients, however you want to refer to these senior individuals, are vaccinated, and what is that going to look like?
Yeah, that's a very good question. So I'm also on the board of this association that's called Pennsylvania Adult Day Services Association. I'm Eastern Vice President of this group, and we are in constant talks with, Pennsylvania Department of Aging and Philadelphia County Department of Health. We're having consistent talks with them. They have just recently, last week, reopened, I believe, 4 senior centers in Philadelphia. I think at this point, they want to see how things go with senior centers. Obviously, they consider adult daycare clientele much more functionally impaired than sicker population and, more affected by the COVID and all the outcome that comes from there. So, there's talks about vaccination. We are trying to become a vaccination site. We're trying to get them to get all of the centers in Philadelphia become vaccination sites for their own population, since it is so difficult to get vaccine for general population or people over 65. We serve a much more fragile population. There's, these are functionally impaired, cognitively impaired people. They will just feel much more comfortable coming to the centers for vaccination. So that's on the table. There's concerns about staff being vaccinated. There's concern of how the regular testing will go. So all these are specifics that we are discussing with them. We're hoping and we're hopeful that it will be soon, but at this point, we do not have a definitive date as to when they will let us reopen.
And so let's talk about then the alternatives. The alternative obviously is virtual. Can you tell us how is that going, and what type of programming can you provide your clients?
Yes, so to kind of give you a breakdown, adult daycare obviously industry has been affected the most. We do serve the most vulnerable population, and at certain capacity, we were not able to reopen at all. We see the decline and the effects it is taking on all of our participants, because for many of them, coming to daycare, being engaged in social interactions and structured activities and receiving physical therapy and RN care and getting their medication needs addressed, that was like the only outlet. Nothing really changed for them. They're still getting home care, they're still getting all the other services that they had before, but the fact that they're unable to participate in any activities or stay engaged or socialized is taking, a huge toll on all of them. They functionally decline. They are, they're not as sharp. There's confusion going on. So we have been advocating very strongly with the state to approve remote adult day through DHS, through the waiver and Appendix K. And it took the state some time, but finally in January of this year, they received a waiver from CMS to approve adult day as a remote service for the state of Pennsylvania. We have started speaking to managed care organizations right away and offering the service, putting it in place, and we're finally able to roll it out now with the approval. Basically, it will be consistent of whatever, there's always technology issue, like everybody, it's not only a lack of technology, but it's also for the population that we serve, obviously, their level of technology skill and what they can access and how to turn on the Zoom or FaceTime, this is difficult. So we made a lot of adjustments. We're creating activity packets. We are individually finding out from each participant and family, they used to do arts and crafts, or they used to do certain things in daycare, certain activities. We will deliver the supplies to them. This remote care consists of daily wellness checks where the trained staff from the adult daycare will call participants or their families. They will find out what are their immediate needs. Do they know their COVID symptoms? How are they doing? How's their health? Along with the other list of questions. We will check to see if everything is that was delivered to them, like, for example, we deliver TheraBands that they can do exercises with. How are they doing with that? So that's the activity side of things. We're kind of inventing new things without use of technology. We're also, through this remote care, able to deliver meals. We're able to have our RNs reach out for people that need more medical level of care and coordinate with their doctors, to coordinate with home cares, to coordinate things that they need medically, if there's issues in the family. And all that encompasses, remote care at this time. Of course, it will be very individual based on the participants and based on adult daycares. Not everybody's going to be able to participate in that. A lot of centers have laid off staff. So it's, we got to pull these things together to kind of start this program, or our clients will continue to decline and unfortunately be placed in a nursing home where they don't want to go. So they're kind of stuck between this place where they can receive the service that was keeping them out of the nursing home, and they don't want to go to the nursing home.
And that was the whole point of adult day, is to keep them out of the nursing home, provide relief for a spouse, for a child, for respite during the day, 1 day a week, 5 days a week. And it's not like and most of the individuals who attend adult day at Northeast Adult Day have limited funds because they're Medicaid recipients under what's called the waiver program in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. And as such, it's not like they have unlimited funds that they can compensate for the time when they're not at the adult day center, meaning bringing in home care, or compensating a family member because he or she is missing time from work. And as you said, you just can't say, okay, let's do virtual. Okay, here's your iPad, let's get on Zoom.
Right.
Cognitive impairment plays a role, individuals with Parkinson's. It's even the technology is available. In many cases, they need someone to help facilitate that, the Zoom call or virtual meeting or whatever is going on. They need a care partner available.
Absolutely. And the cost is another big thing for, if we're not talking about Medicaid or even not Medicaid population, a lot of people, besides not wanting to be in the facility and wanting to remain at home, they also can't afford, in some cases, to go be placed. So adult daycare was providing not only very engaging but economical option in some collaboration with Home for Hours, to kind of fund and
let's move in the last 5 or 10 minutes that we have. I want to move away from adult day, because obviously that's your passion, that's your that's kind of your calling, so to speak. It's quite clear to the listener that that's your calling, and you're very passionate, and God bless you for that. I love the passion in your voice. But let's move more a little bit to your background. You have a very interesting background. I would like the listener to the viewer to become aware of. And to lead to where you are today. Um, and so, you immigrated to this country, correct?
Yes.
And how long ago was that?
So I came to this country in 1989
Okay. And from where?
from Kiev, Ukraine.
Okay. And you didn't know a lick of English at that time?
I did not. I didn't
Okay.
know a word of English. You're
So
right.
how did you end up becoming an RN and then having this passion for the most vulnerable among us, so to speak? How did that come about from 1989 to 2011 in 3+ decades? How did that come about?
Yes, so
In 5 minutes or less.
I will try my best. It's many years, but I will do my best. So I did come to this country as an immigrant, and I'm forever grateful for this opportunity. When I left Ukraine, it was still Soviet Union. So, for a lot of your listeners, they know the difference now between the Soviet Union and what Ukraine is now, which is more of an independent country. I came here with nothing. I knew no English. I just knew that I wanted to be a nurse from the time that I was a little girl. So I went to school. I had a couple of jobs. I graduated from Thomas Jefferson University with my BSN, and eventually became an RN. I worked as a critical care nurse in Hahnemann. I did some home care. And when I was doing home care, I realized that there's so many people that are just stuck at home, and, home care is great. And, it's providing them with personal care. And we were able to help people with their medical needs and RN and PT and OT and all that great stuff. But ultimately they were missing this socialization piece. Since I spoke Russian and Ukrainian, I was being sent to mostly people who didn't speak any English, so they could speak with me and, communicate and understand all this. Like, people would come from Soviet Union with like a bag of Russian medications, and they had no idea what to do. And they needed somebody to kind of talk them through all that. And as I was seeing all this, I came with the idea that we need to open something like an adult daycare for them, where they can be engaged, where they can, have culturally sensitive meals, and they can participate in activities with people that they speak the language with. And so the idea came about. And I opened this adult daycare with a partner of mine, who is an occupational therapist. Her name is Anna Avberg. And we have been open since 1999, so 21 years in business. It's going to be 22 years this year. We've been serving Philadelphia, Montgomery, and Bucks County participants, clients, with our care very successfully.
Wonderful and fantastic what you do. And you speak you obviously you speak, is Ukrainian a language, or is that just a dialect of Russian?
No, Ukrainian is a language.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Ukrainian, you speak Russian, obviously English, and I could be wrong, but you speak at least a kitsat of Yiddish.
Not really, but, my mom does. And, I try to listen in here and there, but yes, Yiddish is something that was spoken at my home.
Okay. My daughter is actually, she teaches Yiddish. That's why I brought it up.
Okay. Wonderful.
I don't know why it didn't come from my wife or I, but she loves Yiddish. She zooms with, she's almost fluent in Yiddish, and it's fantastic, because it's actually kind of making a comeback in the United States, believe it or not. It's fascinating. So what, in the last minute or so that we have remaining, what do you think? Tell me what you think is going to be the difference when your clients come back to Northeast Adult Day Center. what's the first thing you're going to do when that client who you haven't seen for a year plus walks in the door? What's the first thing you're going to do with them?
Well, besides taking their temperature, that will be
All right, yeah, that's a practical. Yeah, I was thinking beyond that, but thank you for being Miss Practicality. Yes.
Yes. It's going to be a lot of work. We cannot wait to see our clients. We are waiting for this moment. We haven't seen them for a year. They're going to need a lot of care. They're going to need a lot of reassuring. They're scared. We still see the hybrid model of remote and maybe, you know, some in person here for some time. Maybe somebody who was attending 7 days a week or 5 days a week will only feel comfortable coming once a week or twice a week, and we're hoping to supplement their days at home with remote care. But I think people are going to be, you know, like almost afraid of each other. You know, my participants they all made friends. You know, there's friendships that made, they were, you know, all calling each other, but from being stuck at home for so long, the biggest thing that they will need is a psychological support. And we run the psychological support group. I think that's going to be very, you know, heavily popular and needed. They're going to need a lot of medical care. Maya
Lost you for a second there. All right, so I apologize, but we seem to have lost Vlada, so I apologize, but we'll have to finish that ending another time. So, but I want to thank Vlada for her time and today. So, Vlada, thank you for your time, and I appreciate everything you do. Vlada, thank you so much for coming on today. I very much appreciate everything you do. If someone is interested in Northeast Philadelphia Adult Day, what's the easiest way for them to get in touch with you? How can they get more information?
So thank you for having me. First of all, I really appreciate it. We are Northeast Adult Daycare. We are, you know, working. We're ready for your calls and emails. Our number is 215-671-0200. We have a website, which is www.northeastadc.com. You can send us an email through the website, or our email address is info@northeastadc.com. So we're ready to help all the people. We're getting a huge number of calls. People are tired of sitting at home, and we feel that, you know, socialization will still be the future.
Absolutely. So thank you so much for again, best of luck to you, and best of luck reopening to do what you do best.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Okay. Bye-bye. Stay well.